Hi, and welcome back. Nice to have you for our practice today. Just a reminder that these practices are donation based, so anything you can give to keep them going would be greatly appreciated. Also today, I have a playlist for the class. I'll put the Spotify link below. If you want to follow along with the music, feel free. If not, you can also just practice listening to the sound of your breath. Um, so I was thinking about how kind of everything right now feels like it's kind of come to a stop. Everything's kind of come to a pause. I've had things that I've been planning for a while, working on this teacher training. I had trips, I had all these different things planned, and it kind of feels like this big barrier's been put up. But then I was thinking about how if this hadn't happened, I wouldn't be getting these classes online, which is something that I have been thinking about doing for a long time. There are projects around the house. We did a deep clean of the living room. Can you tell? It's beautiful clean. Deep clean of the living room and the kitchen yesterday. So, there's things that I feel like have had to pause, but other things that I feel like have been able to come up because of the time and because of the fact that I've had to put other things on pause. So I'm sure you've had similar experiences. And it's nice maybe to think of this time as not so much being a pause, but of being a detour. So we're still on the path, we're still moving, we're still practicing, we're still living our daily lives, but maybe it's just a slightly different route than we were planning. So for today, if you have two blocks or two block-like objects around, those might be good to have. You can place those toward the top of your mat. And if you have a strap or a scarf, anything like that, that also might be good to have for later. So we're going to come to stand actually at the back of your mat. So step your feet. They can either come about as wide as your hips, or if it feels better, you can step your feet into a Tadasana shape. Wherever you are, let your eyes close. Feeling the earth beneath you, beneath your feet. And seeing the path laid out in front of you. Maybe it's a different path than you had planned. But we have to keep moving. We have to keep walking. We have to keep traveling on that path, creating that path for ourselves if we need to. So, keeping your eyes closed, you're going to start to walk on your path, taking a few steps forward. And take it nice and slow, and taking your time to arrive at the top of your mat. Maybe you go a little too far, maybe back up a little bit. Find yourself there. Long spine, long breath. Hands can meet in a prayer at your heart. And we'll chant Om together. Big breath in. Om. Your arms can release with a breath out. Eyes can float open, and with a breath in, sending the arms up toward the sky. Keep the eyes looking straight out in front of you, steady gaze. Pressing into the 2 feet, rising up onto the toes, heels floating. On an exhale, heels melt softly back down to the earth. Again, pressing into the toes, floating the heels up, and releasing the heels toward the mat, exhaling. One more time like this, spine floating. Keep the spine long as the heels melt down to the earth. Releasing the arms, let the knees soften a little bit. Chin melts toward the chest. And take your time to roll yourself all the way down to the mat. Your knees can stay really soft here as you hang heavy. Left fingers come to the floor or a block right under your face. Lengthening the right leg, sweeping the right arm to the sky for a twist. Breathing in. And as you breathe out, top hand releases down, softening both knees. Other side, right hand down. Left arm reaches toward the sky as the left leg lengthens. Spine is long, head reaching forward, tail reaching back. And then softly folding, releasing the head and the arms toward the earth. Planting the palms on the mat. Now with just as much awareness as when you walked forward a moment ago, start to walk the feet back to a downward facing dog. And take a few treads through the heels here, so you can drop one heel toward the earth, and then drop the other heel, letting the weight shift back and forth a little bit. Rising up high onto all 10 toes, big breath in. And as you exhale, sink both heels toward the earth behind you. Finding a nice long breath in this downward facing dog. Starting from the toes, press into the toes and wave yourself out long into a plank pose. Press into the palms, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Again, like this, toes press down, spine reaches out, crown forward. Downward facing dog. Exhaling. One more time, rolling it out. Big breath in. This time it's a child's pose. Knees wide, point the toes, soften back to the heels. Forehead to the earth. Palms heavy. Gently walking the hands back, rolling up through the spine, maybe walking the the knees a little bit closer together. Take your hands back behind you. Sending some weight into the palms, maybe so much that the knees start to float up off the mat. You might feel a stretch in the ankles or in the tops of the feet. Breathing in. As you exhale, knees to the earth, crawling back out onto hands and knees. Tucking the toes, downward facing dog. Breathing out. With an inhale, the right leg floats high. Scooping the knee toward the nose, shoulders right over the wrists. Send it back up, three-legged dog. Right leg floats. Knee to the nose to the knee, shoulders forward. Last time like this, reach it tall. Breath in. Knee to the nose, and then look forward. Gently step that foot between the hands. Left knee to the mat. Back toes point, pressing into the right foot. Both arms to the sky for a low crescent lunge. Feeling the toes of the right foot spreading and grounding into the mat. With an exhale, bring your hands down. If you have blocks or a prop nearby, take the blocks under your shoulders, pressing those fingertips into the props, lifting the chest, inhaling. With an exhale, start to draw the hips back. The hands can walk back so they stay under the shoulders, flexing the right foot and letting the head melt off of the neck. If your right leg doesn't straighten all the way, that's fine. Go to where you can go. Let the head release. Looking forward, bending the right knee, crawling yourself back forward to your low lunge. Both hands to the mat. Downward facing dog. Right foot slides back. Plank pose as you breathe in. Exhale, knees to the mat. Keep the bum lifted as the elbows bend. Chest and chin between the thumbs. Sliding out onto the belly, baby cobra pose. Breathing in. Downward facing dog, traveling through hands and knees, floating the hips high. Left leg rises, breath in. Draw the knee into the nose, hovering forward over the wrists. Send it back up, breathing in. Knee to nose, shoulders forward over the hands. One more time, breathing in. Knee draws forward and foot steps softly between the palms. Right knee down, toes release, arms rise for your low crescent lunge. As the pelvis sinks, feel the low belly drawing up, supporting that shape. With a breath out, both hands come down, finding the props if you have them, taking them under your shoulders, pressing the fingertips down, rising up through the chest, big breath in. With an exhale, shifting the hips back, bringing any props back with you, lengthening the left leg, flexing the foot, and let the head release. Gazing forward past the left foot, bending the knee, crawling yourself back to the top of the mat. You can move your blocks out of the way for now. Tucking the back toes, this time the back foot steps forward to meet the front foot. Soft knees in your forward fold. Inhaling. With an exhale, knees bend even more. Tailbone drops as the spine rolls up long. Arms rise for a prayer. Breathing in. Hands meet at your heart. Breathing out. Release your arms by your side, standing in your Tadasana. Exhaling. Now you might want your feet together, but it might feel good to have a little separation here between the feet. With a breath in, send the arms to the sky, and again, rise up onto your tippy toes. Exhaling, it's diver's pose. Sending the arms and the hips back, heart reaching forward. Big inhale. As you exhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Weight sinking back into the heels. Low belly drawing up. One more inhale here. With an exhale, folding forward over the legs. Right foot steps back into a lunge. Heart is open. Downward facing dog with a breath out. Plank pose, rolling out long. Now you can lower the knees to the mat or keep the legs straight, elbows bend, lower to your belly. Press down to rise through the heart. Downward facing dog. Breathing out. Right leg floats high. Inhale. Foot forward on an exhale. Left foot forward, long, flat back. Releasing over the legs. Exhale. Arms rise for a prayer. Breath in. Hands to your heart. Breath out. Send the arms back up, rising up onto the toes. Diver's pose, hips back, heart stretching forward. Chair pose, heavy hips, big breath in. Fold forward, Uttanasana. Exhale. Left foot steps back, heart reaches forward. Down dog on your breath out. Plank, inhaling, lowering with control all the way down to your belly. Point the toes, cobra, inhaling. Downward facing dog, exhaling. Left leg high on a breath in. Foot steps forward on a breath out. Right foot forward, long, flat back. Melting, bowing down. Exhale. Arms rise for your prayer. Hands to your heart. Exhaling. Arms rise, come up onto those toes. Diver's pose, breath out. Chair pose, open the heart. Fold forward, exhaling. Right foot steps back, breath in. Down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, breath out. Plank on your inhale. You might add a chaturanga or you might lower to the floor. Rising up dog or cobra. Down dog, exhaling. Right leg high, inhale. Foot steps forward, exhale. Left foot forward, long spine. Melting, bowing down. Arms rise for your prayer. Hands meeting at the heart. Send it back up, rise up onto the toes. Diver's pose, exhale. Chair pose, breath in. Bowing forward, let the head hang. Left foot back, breathing in. Downward facing dog, breathing out. Roll out long to your plank. It's chaturanga or to the mat. Up dog or cobra. Down dog. Exhaling. Left leg floats. Foot steps forward, exhaling. Right foot forward, long spine. Bowing down, exhale. Arms rise for your prayer. Hands meet at the heart, breathing out. Arms rise up onto those toes. Diver's pose, breath out. Chair, big inhale. Melting, bowing down. Right foot back, breath in. This time it's plank pose. Right away, lowering to chaturanga or to the mat. Lifting the heart, Urdhva Mukha. Downward facing dog. Breathing out. Big breath here. Let your knees soften. Look forward, make your way to your hands with a step or a hop, long spine, breath in. Bowing down, exhale. Arms rise right up onto those toes, breathing in. Diver's pose, breathing out. Chair pose, inhale, releasing over the legs, exhale. Left foot back, breath in. Right through plank, take it toward the mat. Rising, inhaling, Adho Mukha Svanasana, exhaling. Knees soften, look forward, step or float to the top of the mat, long spine. Releasing, exhale. Arms rise for a prayer, hands meeting at the heart. Big breath here, Tadasana. Arms rise, coming up onto those toes again. Diver's pose, breathing out. Chair pose, big inhale, melting over the legs, exhale. Long spine, breathing in. Bend your knees, plant your palms. You can step to plank or hop back, landing in your chaturanga. Inhaling, heart open. Downward facing dog on your breath out. With an inhale, the right leg reaches high. Right foot steps forward between the hands. Left heel spins down. Virabhadrasana 1. Warrior 1 pose. Feel that left pinky toe rooting down into the earth beneath you. With an exhale, open everything up. Warrior 2 pose. Back leg is energized. Pressing into the sole of the right foot, lengthening the right leg. Inhaling. Triangle pose, deepening the right hip crease. Right hand to the shin, left arm to the sky. Feel the heart rising up toward the left fingertips as the feet ground down into the earth. Turning it into a low lunge, hands to the floor, right knee bends, stepping right back through plank, moving through your vinyasa. Left leg high, inhale, stepping forward, finding your warrior 1, right heel down, arms rising. Right hip spiraling in. Breathing in. Opening up wide, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2 pose. Left thigh getting a little bit heavier as the hips sink. Pressing into the left foot, lengthening through the left leg. Triangle pose, reaching forward, forward, forward. Left hand melts to the shin. Right arm reaches high. With your next exhale, softening into a low lunge, hands to the mat. Stepping right back through plank, chaturanga, breathing in to open. Breathing out, down dog. Adding on, right leg high, inhale. Step it forward, finding that warrior one. Left heel down, arms rise. Warrior two, breathing out. Straighten the front leg, breath in. Triangle pose, reaching forward, right hand to the shin, left arm to the sky. Press into your feet, rise up, reverse your triangle. Right arm to the sky, right knee bends, elbow melts down to the thigh, left arm reaches long over the ear. Extended side angle. Left hand to left hip. Right fingers to the floor or a prop in front of you. Shifting onto the right foot, half moon pose. Left leg back. Left fingers reaching to the sky. Ardha Chandrasana. With an exhale, big step back through warrior two, landing softly on that left foot. Peaceful warrior, right arm tips high, breathing in. Cartwheel the hands down, big step back. Take it through your vinyasa. If you ever need to leave it out, feel free. Left leg stretches high, breath in. Footsteps forward, warrior one, breathing in. Open it up wide, warrior two, exhale. Lengthening the left leg, breath in. Triangle pose, Trikonasana, breath out. Pressing into your 2 feet, rising up and back, reversing your triangle pose. Left knee bends, elbow to the thigh, reaching the right arm long for side angle. Right hand to right hip. Left fingers connect to the floor or to your block, shifting onto the left side body for your half moon pose. Letting that right side body get really light. With an exhale, big step back, softly landing in warrior two. Tip it back for your peaceful. Breathing in. Cartwheeling the hands down, big step back with the left foot. Take it through your flow. Following your breath all the way back, down dog. Right leg lifts, inhale. Stepping forward, same beginning, warrior one, rising high. Open it up, warrior two. Right leg lengthens, breath in. Triangle, deepening the right hip crease. Press into the feet, reverse your triangle. Right arm to the sky. Bending the right knee, side angle, either elbow to the thigh or fingertips to the mat. Gazing up past your left armpit. Left hand to left hip. Right fingers find the floor or a prop out in front of you for that half moon, but it's just one big breath here. You step right back to peaceful warrior, left foot down, reach the right arm to the sky. Half moon, right fingers down, left side body floats. Softly stepping back, peaceful, right arm high, inhaling. And one more half moon. Right fingers down, left side is light. Now you might stay here, or you might play with a full moon pose, Japasana, reaching back with your left hand for your left foot. If you caught your back foot, gently release it. Left hand down, step your feet together, soft forward fold at the top of your mat. Rising to a high prayer, inhaling, hands to your heart, exhaling. Tree pose, right leg lifts. You can rotate out and place the sole of your right foot into your left inner thigh. And hands can find a prayer at your heart. Really connect the sole of that left foot into the mat. And from that place of connection, you might start to grow, sending the arms high. Feeling the crown of the head rising. If your arms lifted, bring your hands back into a prayer. Moving to a figure 4, crossing the right ankle above your left knee. Flexing your right foot, hands come back to the heart, and then bend that left knee a lot, like you're doing a chair pose on that left leg. Hips reaching back, heart reaching forward. Left hand finds your left hip. Right peace sign wraps around your right big toe. Pressing the left foot down, rising up, long spine, right knee floats. And maybe you stay here, or maybe you send that right leg off to the right. You can even take a look over your left shoulder, maybe extending the left arm. Wherever you are, eyes forward, right knee can soften, paralleling the legs and stepping into Tadasana. Breath out. Step your feet so they're about as wide as your mat. Heels in, toes out. Inhaling, arms rise. Hands through your heart. We're sinking down into a squat. So maybe your heels pop up off the mat. Maybe you take a prop under your hips to give yourself a little bit more support. Feeling all 10 toes, especially those pinky toes, rooting down. Feeling the inner thighs peeling open. Exhaling, hands to the mat, stretching the legs, heel-toe your feet back together. Find a long, flat back. Inhaling, bending your knees, planting your palms. It's your journey through vinyasa. Meeting up in downward facing dog. Last round like this, left leg rises. Inhale. Step that foot forward. It's warrior 1. Back heel down. Arms rise. Opening it up. Warrior 2. Lengthening the left leg. Breath in. Triangle. Reaching forward. Hand sinks. Right arm floats. Pressing into the feet. Rising up. Reversing your triangle. Left knee bends. Elbow to the thigh or fingertips to the mat. Right arm reaching long in opposition from that right foot pressing down. Right hand to right hip. Left fingers reach out in front of you to the floor or the block, shifting your way onto that left side. One breath to float into half moon. And it's a big step back for peaceful warrior. Right foot down, left arm high. Half moon, left fingers touch the earth. Right side body floats. Again, stepping back to peaceful, landing lightly. Last time, half moon. Left fingers down. Right side is light. And maybe you stay here, or maybe you move into that full moon pose, reaching back with the right hand for that right foot. If you caught the foot, let it go. And it's a soft forward fold. Right hand down, right foot down. Let the head drop. Pressing into the feet, arms sweep high. Breath in. Hands find a prayer of the heart. Exhaling. Vrikshasana, tree pose. Left leg lifts this time. Placing the sole of the left foot into that right inner thigh. Hands finding a connection at the heart. Feeling the sole of the right foot grounding, maybe floating the arms up. If your arms extended, you can collect the hands back at the heart. Moving into your figure four, left ankle crosses over the right knee. Left foot is flexed, hands connect at the heart, and then sinking the sitting bones back, heart rising into the thumbs. Feeling a gentle opening in the outside of the left hip. Right hand to right hip. Left fingers, peace sign wrap around the left big toe. Grounding into the right foot to lengthen the spine. And either staying here or sending that left leg off to the left. Maybe you look over the right shoulder or extend the right arm. Eyes forward, softening the left leg if it lengthened. Stepping the feet together, Tadasana. Breath out. With an inhale, both arms float high. Exhale, it's a big forward fold over your legs. Keep the hips really lifted as we move into crow pose. Hands to the floor in front of you. Keeping the bum lifted as the knees wrap around the upper arms. Eyes reach out in front of you as the weight shifts from the feet toward the hands. Maybe your feet stay on the floor and you just play with taking weight into the palms, or maybe 1 foot or 2 feet start to float up towards your sitting bones. We're landing in a forward fold. Step the feet together, let the head shake out a little bit. Soften the knees. Left foot takes a big step to the back of the mat. Lowering the back knee, releasing the toes. Give the right foot a walk to the outside of your mat. Both hands inside the foot. Coming up onto the fingertips, lengthening the spine. It might be good to take blocks under the hands here if the floor is a little far away. Now you might stay here, or you might melt down onto your palms or onto your elbows. The blocks are always nice to take under the elbows if the floor is just a little too far to reach here. You can stay here. You might also extend the shape, tucking your back toes and extending the left leg out long. If you're on your elbows or if you're on blocks, bring yourself back to your palms. Heel-toeing your right foot toward the center. And then stepping your left foot forward, long, flat back. Releasing, exhaling. Right leg takes a big step to the back of the mat. Gently lowering the back knee, releasing the toes. This time the left foot walks wide, both hands inside of that left foot. Coming up onto your fingertips or taking props under the hands. Get really heavy with the hips. See if the chest can rise. You stay here or you crawl down to your palms, maybe down to your elbows or to blocks for a few breaths in your lizard pose. Again, you can stay here. You might also play with tucking the back toes and extending the back leg. If you've lowered onto your elbows or onto blocks, walking yourself back up to your palms. Left foot heel toes, so it's back between your two hands. Big step back through a plank. Exhaling to lower. Breathing into rise. And it's downward facing dog on a breath out. Finding a few deep breaths here. Inhaling, knees soften. Look forward, softly making your way to your hands. Long, flat back. Melting over the legs. Heel toe the feet apart. So your feet are about 2 fists distance apart. About as wide as your sitting bones. Bend your knees quite a bit. Peace sign fingers wrap around the big toes. Keeping the knees soft, lift the chest. Big inhale. As you exhale, elbows bend deeply. Forehead melts toward the knees. Now you might stay here with soft knees, or if you can keep the thighs connected with the chest, you might start to send your sitting bones up, lengthening the legs. Wherever you are, right hand moves onto your right hip. Bend both knees a lot and then use your left hand to draw that left leg up with you as you come up to stand. Right arm floats to the sky, breathing in. You might stay here, or you might send your left leg out in front of you. Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. And to big toe pose. Keeping the right arm lifted, softly bending the left knee. Catch the foot behind you, inner thighs drawing in, pubic bone drawing up. Left foot floats up into the left hand, tilting forward for a dancer pose. Keeping the back leg lifted, release the hand. Cartwheel the left hand down to the floor or down to a prop. Reaching the right arm high for rotated half moon pose. Left heel is reaching back. Crown of the head is stretching forward. Left foot takes a big step to the back of the mat. Send the left arm to the sky and see if the right hand can hook behind the back of the left thigh or catching the outside of the left hip. Big breath in here. As you exhale, use that right hand to twist back over the right shoulder. Both arms to the sky, eyes forward, high lunge. Hips are heavy. Feel free to soften that back knee if you need. With an exhale, step the feet together. High prayer. Hands meeting at the heart. Exhaling. Right knee rises up toward the chest. Left hand finds the right knee. Or you might reach down and catch the outside of the right pinky toe. Wherever you are, right arm stretches back behind you. You can stay here, or you might stretch the right foot forward. Feeling the right fingertips and the right foot moving in 2 opposite directions. Right arm high, eyes forward, stepping the feet together, both arms to the sky, rising up onto the tippy toes. Diver's pose. Exhaling. Chair pose. Big breath in. Bowing forward. Breath out. Left foot takes a big step to the back of the mat. Back knee down. Toes point. Arms rising to the sky for your crescent lunge. With a breath out, hands come down. This might be a good time to find those props. Take them under the hands. Pressing into the fingertips, send the chest up away from the right thigh. With an exhale, shifting the hips back. Maybe bringing the blocks back with you, just like at the beginning of class. Flexing the right foot and letting the head release. Now keep the legs as they are. Press into the blocks, lift the chest, almost like a cobra pose in the upper body. As you breathe out, you can walk the blocks forward, keeping the chest lifted, sliding the right heel forward maybe a little bit, or maybe a little bit more, letting those hips sink down toward the mat for Hanumanasana. Really pressing those hands down, feeling the spine rising in opposition. Heart is really open. Breath is deepening. Press the palms into the blocks. Lift the pelvic floor up as you draw that right leg back. You can come to hands and knees, moving your blocks maybe back to the top of your mat. And we'll all meet down in downward facing dog. So there might be another vinyasa that you want to move through. Or maybe you just stay in your down dog for a few deep breaths. It's your journey, following your path. Softening the knees, looking forward, making your way to the top of the mat. However you get there, long, flat back, releasing over the legs. Again, stepping the feet apart. Maybe two fists can fit between those two hands. Softening the knees, you might take peace fingers again around your big toes. Or this time you might slide your palms underneath the feet so the toes come up to meet your wrists. Lengthening the heart forward. Breath in. Wherever you are, releasing the upper body over your soft knees. And again, you can stay here, or if you can keep the thighs and the chest connected, you might send the hips a little bit higher. Gently releasing whatever grip you have. Taking your left hand onto your hip. Right peace sign wraps around your right big toe. Bending your knees a lot, pressing into the sole of that left foot to draw the right leg up. Left arm high. And maybe the right leg reaches out long in front of you. Keep the left arm long, softly start to bend that right knee. Catching the right foot behind you, inner thighs drawing in, right foot floating up into the right hand, Shiva Nataraj. See if you can keep that right foot behind the right shoulder, right rib spiraling forward. Keeping the right leg lifted, release, cartwheel the right hands down to the floor or a block, left arm sweeping high and looking up towards your left fingertips, rotated half moon pose. Left knee softens, big step back with your right foot. Stretch the right arm to the sky and see where the left hand can catch on the outside of the right thigh or the right hip, breathing in for length, and then using that left hand spiraling back over your left shoulder. Left arm reaches to the sky, squaring yourself into that high lunge. Evening out the breath here. On an exhale, feet together, high prayer. Hands connect at your heart. Breathing out. Left leg lifts. This time, right hand finds the left knee, or right fingers reach down to connect to the outside of the left pinky toe. Left arm reaches back behind you. And then maybe the left foot stretches forward. Keeping the shoulders stacked above the hips. Left arm to the sky. Eyes forward, feet together. Both arms rise. Last time, coming up onto those tippy toes. Diver's pose with a breath out. Chair pose, sinking into the heels. Breath in, melting over the legs. Breath out. Right foot travels back into a low lunge, lowering the back knee, pointing the toes, arms rise. Inhaling. As you exhale, hands come down, maybe framing the foot, maybe taking props under the hands, pressing into the fingertips, lifting the chest. Inhale. Exhale, starting to shift your way back, walking the hands back so they stay under the shoulders, flexing the left foot and let your head go. Keep the legs as they are, lifting the chest, breathing in. You can stay here, or keeping your chest lifted, you can start to slide your way out into your full split, your Hanumanasana. Notice if you're holding in the jaw or holding in the breath. Let the breath help you, deepening your experience, deepening your connection to yourself. Pressing into the blocks, lifting the pelvic floor, drawing yourself back. Coming to hands and knees. You can move any props off to the side. And it's downward facing dog. Maybe a step back to that down dog, or maybe it's one last vinyasa here. Take a nice long breath in. And as you breathe out, it's child's pose. Let yourself relax back to the heels. And taking a few deep breaths here. Honoring where you are on your path. Whether it's where you plan to be or whether you've taken a minor or major detour. Maybe you get back to the path you were on. Maybe your route changes completely. But allowing yourself to observe and be flexible. And be open to the possibilities. Walking your hands back, rising up to sit. We're coming to stand on our knees, so if you want to fold the top of your mat over, if your knees are a little sensitive, you can always take a blanket underneath your knees for a little extra support there. Tucking your toes underneath you, hands onto the back of the pelvis, and then sending the pubic bone forward, lifting the belly, lifting the heart, maybe lifting the eyes. You can stay here, or you can gently melt your hands back to your heels for your camel pose, Ustrasana. Hands to the pelvis, if the hand's lowered, rising up to a long spine. Pointing your toes, just take a seat on your heels for a few breaths. Feeling the spine come back to neutral. Rising back up onto your knees. One more camel pose. You can keep the toes tucked under if that worked for you. If you want to take the shape a little bit deeper, you can always try pointing the toes. Taking the hands onto the back of the pelvis, pubic bone reaching forward, front of the body peeling open. Again, you can stay here, or the hands can reach back to the heels. If the hands find the heels, really press the hands down into the heels and see if the pubic bone and the pelvis can reach forward even a little more. Hands to the pelvis, rising up, long spine. If your toes are tucked, point the toes, sitting down on the heels. Long spine. Hips to the earth. You can move any props out of the way, rolling yourself all the way down onto your back. Arms out wide. You can give the knees a little dip to the left, dip to the right, rocking side to side. And then both knees over to the left, head turning to the right for a twist. Maybe you find a steady point of focus out over your right fingertips, letting the eyes be soft. Or maybe you let the eyes float closed, turning the attention inward. And drawing yourself back onto your back, knees to the right, and head to the left. Bringing yourself back onto your back, hugging the two knees in towards your chest, and sending both legs up to the sky, breathing in. You can shake the legs out a little bit here if it feels good. We'll move back to that figure four that we found when we were standing. Right ankle crosses above the left knee, reaching through to find the back of the left thigh with the hands. Your left knee can relax, bending that knee, and then using the two hands to draw the shape in towards you. As you draw the knee and the leg a little bit closer in towards your chest, noticing if the back of the pelvis is even on the mat, if the shoulder blades are even, and if the back of the skull is even. Keep the figure four shape, gently bringing the sole of the left foot down to the floor. Now this might be a good time to grab a strap or a scarf, whatever you have nearby. Take that around the sole of your foot, sole of your right foot, keeping the elbows really heavy, and with a breath in, floating the foot up into the strap. With an exhale, bend the knee, drawing it a little bit closer in towards you. Again, lengthening the leg, heel reaching toward the sky. Breathing out, right knee bends in towards your chest. Last time, float the right leg high, and at the same time, send the left leg out long on the mat. So you're making a big L shape with your two legs. And the two legs are just as energized as each other.
So that left leg stays really connected to the earth, pushing the sole of your foot away as the right leg reaches high. Bending both knees. You can move your strap off to the side, sending both legs back up to the sky. Inhaling, maybe shaking it out a little bit. And moving to the second side, left ankle crosses above the right knee. Reaching through, grabbing onto the back of that right thigh, letting the right knee bend, and then letting the whole shape move in towards you. You might even use the left elbow on the left thigh to give that thigh a little more outward motion, if it feels good. If you can do it without tensing for the left shoulder. Gently releasing the grip on the thigh, bringing the sole of the right foot down to the floor. Paralleling your left leg, hooking your strap, your belt, your scarf around the sole of the left foot. Stretching the left leg toward the sky, breathing in. And rebending that left knee, breathing out. Again, like this, left foot floats high. Big inhale. And knee bends, knee coming towards your chest. Last time, send the left leg high, and at the same time, reach the right leg long. So you have that big and energized L shape in the two legs. See if the elbows can stay grounded on the mat. So that there can be a sense of softness in the shoulders. On your next exhale, softening both knees. You can move your strap out of the way. Hug the knees into the chest. Lift the nose toward those two knees, hugging in. Take a big breath in here, and with an exhale, release. Shavasana, legs out long, arms by your sides. Let your eyes close as you settle in. Taking your time in Shavasana, take as long as you need, as long as you want. And thanking yourself for your practice today. Namaste.